Hi Dee. Hi everybody. It's 2:30. I'm on my way home. You can still see stars, so it's not gonna rain here. There's my nice blue truck, and yeah, we're going to slowly go into doesn't say it closes at dark. That's a good thing. Anyway, we're going into the NoNo woods, and I have brought my regular light and my other smaller light. Do 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 do. Kyle! Whoop! Here I come. Coming in. Woo. See, told you before, I said NoNo woods had a lot of poison ivy, poison oak. You got to kind of stay on the trail a little bit, because that is all that dark green down there is poison ivy and poison oak. There's a poison ivy vine. Yeah, here we go. Doody doot doot. It's I don't know, 55 degrees. And of course, all I have is a t-shirt on because it was 70 when I went to work. Kyle! Whoop whoop! I'm just going to follow the path. Follow the path. You can see that humans do come in here quite a bit. At least this front part of it anyway. Because there's a place to park and all of that. But once you get off of the path, the main paths, there's not so many people that walk through here. And you'll see that the further I go back in here, the less of a path I'm going to be walking on. Now here's, okay, in the springtime, when I came out here, this is that fence from the springtime. That big tree broke off and fell, but there's a lot of small stuff. Well, smaller than the big tree anyway. But it looks like they tried that giant X right there. That tree is up in there, and that other tree is up in there. The big ass X right there. But it looks like that's that big X right there. And there's another tree that was put up in there, and another tree that was put up in there. You can just see these are big trees. Like, it would take 10 people to get that tree where it is. And these trees are actually big enough, quite a ways up for them to climb up in. There's another path. If you go to the end right there, and go that way, it goes down by the swamp, but I don't want to get that close to the swamp. It's not cold enough where there won't be any mosquitoes. But I know it's been a long time. I did a live in here last time, but all I had was my phone and the light on my phone walking around in here. This time I have all my lights. I threw them in the car before I left. To come out in the woods a little bit further. And this one, they logged this all off 15 years ago. They made this tractor trail down through here. And when you get down in there far enough, that's where the NoNo trees are. But you can see them. These are really, really tall trees. White pines, I believe. Or at least it looks like white pines by the needles, but I'm not sure. I've never seen white pines quite that tall before. They might be some other kind of pines that I'm not familiar with. All right. Now, unlike Dee, when she goes in the woods and she gets a certain amount of space in the woods, they start making noise if they know it's her. They don't do that for me. So I gotta stop every once in a while, like I'm doing now, and listen for footsteps and that kind of thing. They don't mind me talking at all. And it's funny because even when I do this, I think I just took a picture. Can I take a picture like that? No, it just made noise. Okay. Even when I do this very slow, and I'm looking where both lights are pointed, I don't catch with my eyes what my camera catches when I watch it back. I think I'm hearing frogs very far away in the distance down in the beaver pond. Down in the corner where the road is, the beavers have a dam. And it's quite deep in there. I've actually went fishing for sunfish and stuff in there before. And watch your ears. Kyle! Whoop! Whoop, whoop, whoop! Sorry, because I can see my breath. But I came in here on purpose because there's not going to be any breeze, and I'll be able to handle it with my... Now, you see right here? That's a human path that goes back towards the swamp. It's like a cutoff. They go over by the swamp, and then they don't want to walk very far. They don't want to walk all the way to the end, so they just walk halfway, and then they come back. And that's when you're going to see this path here, and then the path that goes down by the crazy woods, and then the NoNo woods. You'll see that this path gets overgrown. The people don't like to walk down through here. Whoop! Man, these woods are always so quiet. And I don't have any friends with me because I'm coming from work. The only thing that bothers me a little bit is coyotes. If I hear coyotes, I'll head out They don't generally attack people around here, but it sucks that all I have is a 8-inch long flashlight to whomp them on the head with. I could grab a stick real quick, I guess, but Kyle! Whoop! Rover, are you in here? Woof, woof, woof. I don't know if that's offensive to them or not. But, only one way to find out, right? I looked up and shined my light up there and thought I saw an eyeball, but it's just a star that I can see up through. Alright. La-li-la. And I know I'm walking very fast because it takes me a little while to get down to where the NoNo trees are. I gotta get over this hump. Once I start going downhill, then I know I'm down close to the NoNo trees. That was a truck far away. That was not gunshots. Kyle! Don't remember that tree being bent, being over the thing like that. That's new. Whoop whoop. To get a little further away, look back. See that tree? That tree's up in that tree and goes over the top of the path there. I don't remember that tree. Let me get a little further and see if I can look at it. There's a stump out there, but it's very old. It could have fell like that. Whoop! Now I'm one path over from the last couple of times that I took you down to right next to the NoNo trees. I'm one path further in. This path is much wider and bigger than the path I was on before. Can't tell, looks like. You see they leaned a stick in, leaned another tree in, leaned another tree in, another tree in, and that tree stuffed up in there upside down. See that? See the small end of that's down there? What the big end is up there? They did a lot of stuff in trees right in there. Kyle, make a noise. Can you say whoop? See, it's big right in here. And then there's a big trail that goes off to the left. And that's the trail that people go down and closer to the swamp. And they used to have picnics and stuff down in there. Right here, this other trail. I thought I just heard a voice. Hello? This trail goes down there that way. I've shown you this mound before. This trail right here used to be another tractor trail, and it went out to the road. It goes that way. In fact, I think this used to be a Jeep trail right here when they had it during World War II. I definitely just heard leaves. Something shushing through the leaves. Kyle! Whoop! But this used to be probably a Jeep trail. Right through here. This whole side of the town used to be owned by the government and was an ammunition plant. Ooh. Just tripped over a leaf. There's a stick right there. Kyle! Whoop whoop! Now last summer, there's some busted off trees in there, but it looks like a bigger tree fell and caught them and snapped them off. But there's some nice arches right here. And right there, at the end of where you can see my big light, it starts going downhill, and I'll be where the NoNo trees are. Kyle! Make some noise! Do you say whoop? It's very echoey in here, even with all the leaves on, but it's far worse when in the spring and in the fall when the leaves are gone. There's a, down the road about 3/4 of a mile in that direction is a plant called a grana or a grana. They make fruit products like jelly and fruit roll-ups and all kinds of stuff like that. If you remember this great big tree right here, giant tree that fell. Right there is a tree that is leaned, that didn't bust off of anywhere. I showed you that last year. The trail goes out and around the root ball here. You can see people don't walk right there. And this is where we start going downhill, and that's where the NoNo tree is out there. Kyle! Whoop, 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 whoop. Now, if you look out in there, you're seeing all kinds of sticks. There's, well, kind of small X's. I don't know, it's probably a coincidence that that looks like an X, but way up there it's busted off, and you got a log sideways out in there. Now you can see all the stuff that they do. It's everywhere back in here now. I love this place, but this is the beginning of the Angry Woods. This is what I call the Angry Woods up in here. Looks like they threw a temper tantrum at some point and just started throwing shit everywhere. But here's a big old arch right there. That's kind of old. You could tell the leaves are all coming off the top of the tree, which means it's been there for a while. Kyle, are you out here? Now I would imagine that I've come out through here and in the nursery and all over the place out here so much now that I am no longer like something they care about checking out. Like, I'm not a novelty anymore. I may have to start bringing cat balls out here with me like Dee does to catch their interest. Now, like I said, people don't walk back here very much. You see how closed in this is now? Dee doesn't like to walk through places like this. Look right there. Do you see right in the middle of my light right there? Can you see where that is a fresh break? And then this is pulled down in front of that like this. See this here? There's a fresh break right there. Nothing fell big enough to do that right here. It's like they don't want you to walk down through here. It's gonna anyway. Don't stop me. Just like Dee, if I see that they're trying to keep me out of a spot, then I'm definitely going. Kyle! Whoop whoop! All right. Get turned off, turn it back on every once in a while, or else the light dims. You don't even notice it. Then all of a sudden, hey, why can't I see? Kyle! Whoop, 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 whoop. Yeah, see, this is the end. Right in there is the end of the woods that I call the angry woods. Then there's like nothing for a little while, and then when I walk down, this thing's going to turn left and then turn back to the right, and then you'll be able to see what I call the NoNo trees. It's starting to get a little chilly. Can't see my breath anymore. Trying to see anything new. But all last year, they built up small sticks and then bigger and bigger and bigger sticks, and finally ended up about 15 feet long. They made, okay, here's one. Now, I've shown you these before. You see that there's no place that came from up there, and this is the big end, and it's stuck between those two, and the small end's way down there, but there is no place that came from right here, and that is a humongous tree. And the big end is up, busted off, and there is no stump that came from. But they did that quite a while ago. And it's obvious to me now that they've been here for a long time, and I just started noticing them. Ooh, what the hell? Must be a spring right there. I just started noticing them about a year and a half ago, when they bent down that pine tree in my trail. And then the next spring, this last spring, they started to do things that caused me to go look more and more and more, and more sticks leaned against trees, and I'm talking hundreds of them. Kyle! Whoop! Are you out here today? Looks like they're walking through here. Here's another trail that goes over to the swamp right here. It goes over towards the swamp up in there. Like I said, I don't think that I'm a novelty anymore. So I don't think they come to me saying Kyle and come looking at me. Although every time I do this, moth in the mouth. Every time I do this, D starts circling stuff and say, look at this, look at that. Yeah, they're probably watching me, but they don't make any noise. Not like they do for D. She's definitely got their attention somehow. I don't know if it's the cat balls or just the fact that she's a female. They're probably just afraid of me because I'm a male sitting out here. I'm not sure they can, oh, that's new. Not sure if they can read it, my intentions or not. There's a big tree. Look, that big tree in between those two trees, on top of that tree, causing it to start leaning over. You see all of that right there? That wasn't here before. But there is a stump out there, so that could have actually happened by itself. Can't blame that on them. Kyle, did you go tell D River? Oh, that, see that tack? That tack right there? Son of a bitch. It doesn't scare me when I see that, but it's like 100% of my focus goes there when that happens. Pain in the ass. There's a tree. This is stuck up there. I don't know where that came from, but it looked like that could be the rest of it right there, but that still doesn't look big enough. And it did not come from there. But like I said, this is, they were definitely in here last year because of all the sticks and stuff I saw in the nursery. Maybe they had babies and that was a good place for them to bring them at night. Nice and safe over there. But, I don't hear anything, and I've been stopping my car a lot more often than I've made videos, because I made a couple of videos stopping my car out there on the road, or you know, out this way, and then walking down the road. Kyle, are you out here? Here's another, looks like a spring right here. Could be. There's a big impression in the ground right there, but kind of old. I can't tell what that is. Now I'm out here actually down past where see how I'm going back uphill again? I'm past the NoNo tree is back behind me someplace. Off in here. I'm still seeing trees leaned against other trees and all kinds of stuff in here but I'm past the NoNo tree, going back uphill now. I'm smelling a skunk, or what could be a skunk. There's another tree hanging up in here. Now, see, this is the funny part. It's got that tree, and it's old, and it's up there like this. But see how that tree's up there, and then you see that broken one underneath it, stuck in there, under that, right there. That did not happen naturally. There's no way for that to just be like that. It's just, there's things, there's trees that you can go, that could have been like that, but then there's some trees that have like up to 10 or 12 other trees leaned against it. There's that people didn't do that. Now, if I keep going in here, if I just keep going, I'm going to walk out into the open field where the open field where this set of woods kind of ends, and then there's an opening for 600 or 700 yards, and then on the other side of the road is where the nursery starts. I don't need to walk that far away. There's really, other than so far anyway, other than one shuffle in the woods, I really haven't heard anything. I'm coming back out, Kyle, in case you're on that end. Shut this light off again. There we go. I'm gonna shut my other light off. Turn that back on, and it's bright now. Coming back out. Anyway, and I've said it before, and Dee's said it, and everybody else has said it, and it's like, I personally don't know anybody that would even come out here with me, other than Dee maybe Bear. But I literally don't personally know anybody that would come walking in the woods with me like this in the middle of the night. Especially out here when you just only have a flashlight to protect you, hoping that you can see or hear them coming and prepare for it. But big trees, boy. That, I'm not even sure what kind of tree that is. Oh, it's a, is it a maple tree? Can't tell. It looks like a hard maple. Big trees back in here. When they logged all this off, they set sections, and they cut sections out. They didn't just take all the trees and stuff out of here, because they know that the local people would just be pissed off, because they were just literally just did it to sell the logs to make money. And if they clear cut this whole thing, they know that they would have jerked everybody's chain and had Congress people on them and stuff. So they made their probably $500,000 or something. Cutting down all the bigger pine trees on the other end of this. Very few people walk down through here. Kyle! What you doing? And I've said that before, this before anyway, and I'm going to say it again, that there is literally thousands and thousands and thousands of acres of woodland not necessarily owned by the state, but between here and Canada and between here and Pennsylvania, upstate New York has tons and tons of this. No houses, no anything, just tons and tons of wooded area that they could be in. And humans don't tend to go out in the woods at night, and they don't even tend to go out in the woods much anymore. Not like when I was young, because we all were outside. But I'm just an inconvenience to them, and I'm going to walk by and they're just going to look at me from a distance away where I can't see them. They're going to stay cloaked or whatever. Now I'm back up to where the angry woods are. You can see that in there. Right where this chokes off is where the angry woods are. We get to the top of this little hill. Then we'll see that big log that goes across the trail. Let's go around that. Yep, this is the only recent thing I see, but now I see there's a big log that could have, not necessarily, but could have broke that up there when it fell. That log could have caught this tree and broke that. But this right here is a giant bend. See, this tree is bent right down to the ground. You don't gotta walk right underneath it. And there's nothing holding it down anywhere, so something bent it. Holy crap, look at the size of that spider. Something bent that tree and split that tree. See that? Spider? That wood spider there, it's about 3 inches across. That's a big spider. I'm holding you off to the side because that's where I can see. That side and this side is where I can see on the phone. That is a big spider. That's no tiny jumping spider. And I just heard shushing through the leaves again back there. Not really footsteps, but just a ch-ch like that. Through the leaves. Kyle! Whoop whoop! Kyle! But they could have moved on, especially since I keep coming out here looking for them, but that didn't seem to bother them last summer. Maybe they didn't come back yet because it's been raining cold and miserable. But the first time I stopped my car out on the road out here, that's a loud car coming through. The first time I stopped my car out on the road, I whistled for them, and I could hear whistling down in the swamp over here, quite far away from where I was, but Kyle! Now at first, last spring, I was coming out here with just flashlights, no phone or nothing, just flashlights. And then I tried to figure out what I was doing, how I may call them or whatever, and that's when I came across Dee's page. And I watched a bunch of her videos, and then I had the idea that maybe I could lure them in closer by playing her video out in the woods. Because if they're using infrasound or something that we can't hear, but it'll be recorded, and that will play, or maybe they just like her voice or whatever, that may call them in. And that's been my hook, because every time I come out here without Dee's video, I don't see or hear nothing. Sometimes when I'm, at least when I'm playing her video, my hand's getting tired. When I'm playing her video, I can hear walking. A couple times last summer, I actually heard what she calls sumo voices. It sounds like they're speaking in some kind of Japanese language, mumbling like yum 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 yum, like that. Like Chinese or Japanese, but very, very guttural and deep, but not saying words I understand or even close. They're just like saying syllables in a grumbling voice. I also tend to come out much later than Dee does. Dee's like walking towards the woods or get into the beginning of the woods while you can still see there's daylight on the phone. Then she finally turns the lights on, and just after dark is when she gets most of her noises and stick breaks and sightings. But tonight it's gotta be 3 o'clock in the morning by now. I gotta work at 2:30. I decided to come down through the NoNo woods. Kyle! If you're in here, you can show yourself. Because if you come out and I see you one time, that's it. I won't have to come out here anymore. I'll be very happy. I'll be happy and I won't have to come out and bother you because I just want to see you one time. I'm just proving you to myself. I just had the video so I can watch it later. In case I missed you and I'm looking in the wrong direction. Not that you can speak English and not that you have any idea what I'm saying. I still haven't really heard anything even in the distance that could be anything one of them. That was probably a novelty last summer going out there. See, this clan anyway probably hasn't seen or heard people out there looking for them ever. And they have to be people friendly, or well, I can't say people friendly, but they have to be urban aware, I guess I want to call it, because there are people that live around here, and there's people that walk through these woods. There's kind of trails, not quite trails like Dee has, but where hundreds of people walk through there a year, but people do walk here enough to keep it tromped down enough. Kyle! I can't tell if that was the factory or if something just like jumped. That was the factory, it did it again. It sounded like something heavy jumped out of a tree and thump, but it didn't crack anything or make crunching noise of the leaves or anything. But you can tell this is all pine needles. Very few. But there's, see right through here? Right there. That's not a human path right there. Goes across. And it's obviously these small little white pines right there can't grow because it's flattened out. And right through those little white pines there's a path. And deer wouldn't be heavy enough or make it so that those wouldn't grow. And it's not like this path, so people aren't walking on it. Oof. Kyle! Whoopity whoop 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 whoop. I've often wondered if I could make them laugh. If I thought they were watching me by like doing this here. I can make this thing there. I'm guessing I'm out in front of it now, that you can see me, and do something weird, you know, like la da ba ba doo doo doo, la da doo 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 doo, la da doo 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 doo, la ba doo, woo woo woo. Kyle, can you dance? Whee! Can you dance? Well, I hope I at least made you guys laugh. Probably scared the snot out of them, if anything else. I just started making that classic Ohio yell this year. And you see some of the other people looking for Bigfoots, they do that, and sometimes they get sounds back. I have yet to get anything back. I don't like to howl like a wolf. Attract the attention of the coyotes, and the coyotes around here are as big and sometimes bigger than a German Shepherd. Last year, something howled right across the swamp and was answered by something over here in the NoNo woods, and then the coyotes all went off. So I don't know if the doggy men were there or exactly what the deal was, but they were not afraid of me, and I wasn't too afraid of them either. I just walked out into left everything running because I didn't want to have to shoot anything. So I walked out into the happy yard for about 10 minutes and let the camera run. Now we're back to where this looks like they made a fence and a giant X. Look at that X in there. Now I came in through that little trail right there. But this is the easier trail. It goes directly out. Next to the road. Kyle! I'm sorry I disrupted you if I did. I had half a notion of going out in that open field next to those stop signs where I took you one night for about 10 minutes. And I was going to walk out in that open field over there, but with a little bit of breeze, 55 degrees with just a t-shirt on would have been slightly too much. So I decided to come in the woods, which was probably a mistake. I should have went with my gut feeling of going over there. Of course, you're always second guessing yourself and all of that all the time because you either should or shouldn't have done that, or should do this next time or whatever. But I went for comfort. Alrighty. There's the stop sign. My car's right there. And nothing answered me back. Could, once you watch my video and maybe circle something and send it to me. But I didn't see anything but a giant wolf spider. Heard a couple shushes in the leaves, but I did not hear anything that sounded like footsteps. No big heavy crunches, nothing like that. So here I am, back to my car. last time I was down this road here, turns, goes up to the top of the hill up there, and then turns right and goes down in there, and that's where the bunkers start. Like I said, I was only a quarter mile away from right here where the NoNo woods start. Well, there we go. Nothing. But I tried. Maybe when it starts getting hot, they'll come back. So we will talk to you later. Bye.